Is Days Gone worth playing in 2021? What is Days Gone? It's another open world post apocalyptic action zombie game, or at least on a paper that's what it says it is. For me, well, I named this game Happy Lavanda Zombies, and it was for a very good reason too. Let's start with sections and rate this game properly. First section is the story. Cringe conversations, 1 million cutscenes, and bad writing. That's in short. You're trying to survive in the middle of zombie apocalypse, searching for your dead wife, and it's clear from the very start that she is more than alive, if you can consider this a spoiler. In the middle of zombie apocalypse, main story is of course not about zombies, but about people relations during zombie crisis. Think of the story like in Walking Dead TV show after season 3, when everything went downhill, but it's 10 times worse from start to finish with Days Gone. Cringe. Time delaying conversations in 1 million scripted cutscenes. This is the game that decided to rely on the story, threw most of its resources in it, and it failed. It just failed big time. Boring, cringe, irritating story with even worse characters and soulless writing. This is the game that put most of its funds in storytelling, and it failed so much in return. It's just sad. 3 out of 10 for story. Next section, game bugs and optimization. Few bugs here and there. Some of them were hilarious, but none of them were game breaking. Game is optimized great for PC, frames are smooth, loading times are fast enough, there's nothing more to say about it, 9 out of 10. Game time is the next section. It depends how crazy you are. If you decide to stick with the main story, well, we are looking at 30 hours long main quest. If you are completely out of your mind with suicidal thoughts, then you will do all side fetch quests in the game that in some cases are even better than the main plot. I'm talking about clearing zombie nests and dealing with zombie hordes. But even that aspect of the game will get repetitive really fast, not to mention that you'll need to wait for a long time till hordes appear for the very first time. So all in all, replay value is 0, main story is far longer than it had to be. If you take away cutscenes and radio transmissions from those 30 hours, you'll have around 4 to 5 hours of the actual gameplay. 8 out of 10 for game time. Game difficulty as the next section. There are 6 difficulties to pick from, with survival 2 as the hardest one. The only difference it offers is no HUD. And I hate playing game for the first time without HUD, so I picked hard 2 difficulty for my run, the hardest available with HUD. No matter what difficulty you pick, enemies will be straight brain dead. I even believe that zombies and wildlife are smarter than the actual humans in the game. They will stand in front of you waiting to get shot, they will become bullet sponges on harder difficulties, and that's about it. AI is a complete disaster, Metro Exodus level of disaster. It's insulting how stupid the AI is. I know the game was meant for casual players that will play on a gamepad, but there is no freaking excuse for this AI. 2 out of 10 for game difficulty. Next section is maps and graphics. Great looking world map, clear UI, simple interface, good HUD, solid graphics with very bad face animations. That's it in short. There are 3 main maps in the game, closed open world sandbox. All areas look similar. What you'll encounter are caves, mountains, forests, highways, a bit of snow forests and mountains, empty villages, towns, facilities, factories, oil pumps, dig sites, camps, and so on. Diversity in maps is bland on the other hand. Most of the areas look similar, and there's usually the same loot in every area, but more of that on later sections. 8 out of 10 for maps and graphics. Gameplay is the next section. The most important part. Well, there is no gameplay in Days Gone. This game is maybe 10% actual gameplay, and 90% of it are cutscenes and driving from point A to point B with that annoying radio conversation and transmissions that that never seem to stop from your first to your very last minute in Days Gone. Even after you finish the game, there's still gonna be radio transmissions. I'm dead serious. You won't be able to focus on that 10% of gameplay because of radio transmissions. It's beyond irritating. Those 10% of actual gameplay will also get interrupted with at least 3 to a maximum of 20 cutscenes in, let's say, 20 minutes on average. Yeah, you heard me well. Non-stop interrupts. If it's not the radio, then it's cutscenes. It's cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. Never in my life I've seen more cutscenes with such bad writing. It's cringe. Cringe on every 5 minutes of the game, if not even more often. Survival element is also not there. You do not fight for food or water, scrapping for ammo in zombie apocalypse. It's the opposite. Ammo is everywhere, it's cheap to buy, food and water do not exist, so we can exclude survival part from the game description. So, is there anything good about gameplay then? Yes. It's zombie nests, ambushes, and destroying hordes as optional objectives. Bounties suck, by the way. Even if you have some fun with nests and zombie hordes, very soon it will become repetitive, so don't expect way too much of it. It's just that it's far better than the actual main story gameplay and objectives. I'll be generous and objective here, and I'll give it 3 out of 10, but in my terms, this section deserves 0 out of 10. Gameplay is just a disaster. Leveling and itemization is the next section. There is leveling in the game, and it consists out of 3 branches: survival, guns, and melee upgrades. It's classic, slow time while shooting, with focus, not needed at all for PC, could be useful with gamepads I guess. Detect enemies behind walls, Arkham-style detective vision mod, stealth kill zombies on roids, carry more items and ingredients, and so on. Frankly, I believe that you can easily finish this game on hardest difficulty without a single point invested, considering how stupid the AI is. Now, itemization. You'll be able to carry 3 weapons and 1 melee weapon. Classic stuff: rifles, pistols, shotguns, and snipers of different tier. That's it. The rest are throwables, or better to say grenades, molotovs, napalm molotovs, rocks for distraction that you'll be able to craft with ingredients you'll find along the way. Crafting is simplified and user-friendly, and it's intended for casual players. I believe that I could easily learn my grandma how to craft in this game. Last part of crafting are med stems and stamina stems. Same rule applies for them too. Loot junk and craft. Junk is plenty, and it's everywhere on the world map. Big part of leveling goes to your bike also. Sustain more damage, go faster, have bigger tank fuel. To be more precise, it's a dumbed down copy paste version of Mad Max car upgrades, only this time with a freaking bike. 6 out of 10 for leveling and itemization. NPCs and enemies is the next section. Bunch of NPCs in the game, most of them are important for the main story, but in return they feel bland, washed up, and straight boring, including 3 main villains in the game. The main problem with this zombie game is the actual enemy. It's not zombies, it's humans, it's cliche, it's boring, including the maniac reaper faction leader, as well as Eminem, as well as that wannabe Inquisitor General Pope and his Holy Bible in the last act. Everything is predictable, as are the NPCs. Enemies are different factions of remaining post-apocalyptic survivors: regular zombies, fast zombies, zombies on roids, children zombies, wolf and bear zombies, and zombie crows. That's it. Zombies, they feel good, they're brain dead, but somehow they're smarter than the actual humans. There are no boss fights in this game. Well, like, there is one, but it's cinematic mesh button boss fights, so I can't count that one. 5 out of 10 for NPCs and enemies. Music and sound is the last section. Cringe music, solid sound effects, and absolutely great voice acting. I mean, it's not actors' fault that the writing is bad, they did it well. Voice acting is probably the strongest part in this game, to be honest. 8 out of 10. Conclusion. We got 9 sections with 52 points, and that would be 5.7 out of 10 for Days Gone. While I was playing, I claimed how it's 4 out of 10 or even worse, so I even got surprised here. I actually got surprised that it's 5.7 out of 10, nearly 6 out of 10. I tried to be objective here, nothing else. So let's sum it all up without numbers this time. Days Gone is a survival, post-apocalyptic, action-driving, open-world zombie game with no survival elements, no zombies as main threat in an open world that's narrowed because of the narrative. It's a game that's basically an interactive movie with very little gameplay. It's a long interactive movie with very bad writing and great voice acting, with predictable story, of course. It's a bad copycat of Mad Max, only with zombies. I know zombies sell good in the USA as well as superheroes, but it's no freaking wonder that Days Gone 2 will never happen. You want good open world game with narrative, please stick to Witcher 3 or Red Dead Redemption 2. You want good zombie games, play Dying Light or Resident Evil. You want driving and action, play Mad Max or Batman. You want survival, well, you get hundreds of games that do it 100 times better than Days Gone in terms of survival. Days Gone does it the worst than the entire competition, much older on overall. It's just a mediocre interactive movie like game. Days Gone has huge genre identity crisis. It wanted to be everything at the same time, and it turned out into being nothing at the end. Every aspect in this game is below or slightly above mediocre line, except great voice acting. Shooting feels clunky, movement is clunky, running is clunky and tiresome, driving the bike feels weird, melee combat is roll and mash one button till someone dies, enemies are bullet sponges on harder difficulties, they remain brain dead. There's so much bullet sponges that it takes 3 grenades under their feet to actually kill them. I tested it multiple times and that's how it is. Sneaking is broken, survival is broken, or better to say there is no survival. Gameplay is broken with interruptions and cutscenes, radio transmissions, and all other kinds of bullshit. Along with brain dead AI and constant interruptions of cutscenes and radio transmissions, is this game worth buying in 2021? Only on huge sale. Only if you are bored to death, and only when the price drops below $20. I would demand at least $1,000 to replay this ever again in my life, and I would need some strong drink while doing it too. I thank you all for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next one.